Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium for the 1st of November 2019. Today we are going to focus on crypto, and we're going to run through a bunch of different assets. Let's start with Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin has had a bit of a gap up, as you can see here. So let's have a look at why we have price formation like this. Well, first of all, we had this area of demand here, which is a lot clearer on the daily chart. So we'll have a look at that in just a second. And then you ask yourself, well, why is this an area of demand? Well, this is demand because when this area is established, price rallied, we had a pullback, the slingshot was pulled back to this area, this price window, and then price reached the all-time highs. And if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, please go back to the first video in this series, because this is where the methodology and the terminology is explained in detail. So we had slingshot pull back, return to this price level several times, and then this area of supply was consumed by opposing order flows, which is around here. Okay, and this is not a pretty area, and this is not a pretty area because it's a pretty extended period of distribution. If we have a look on the monthly, maybe we have a bit of a clearer look. Yeah, it's a lot clearer here. Okay, the Pipnotic software have already found this for us. So we had this area of monthly demand. So we had a departure, rally, accumulation, and then a huge shotgun move up to the all-time highs. And then there was a lot of hype up here, a lot of people buying at these tops here, but the people who were in since the lows were completely flabbergasted by the fact that they had so much money in their trading account and there was massive profit taking. Okay, which is why we had huge retreat from the highs, and then price slowly started to move down, and a lot of people who bought this month towards these highs were just in a lot of emotional pain and just started to click out of their positions at this stage just to avoid further loss. So price came back. It came back to this area of value, and this is value because when price came here last time, it left. So this is a very attractive price to buy Bitcoin. Price went north, now we move back into it, and this is where we managed to form this nice base and move above and beyond. Okay, so this is what we have on the monthly chart. And I have the robot running. Let me switch that off so we don't have that. Good. Okay, so if we go to the weekly chart and have a closer look, here we have that monthly area, and on the weekly chart here you can see that we had this area of demand. This is one we touched upon previously. Test, a lot of testing, and then price managed to cut through it. Okay, if we can see that a little bit clearer here, yeah, you can see that pretty clear here. So we had the green candle to the left. The green candle, this is the one that's responsible for removing this weekly demand here. We have accumulation, distribution, another one. So actually these 5 candles link together. Why? Because the body of this one is in the range of this one, the body of this is in the range of this, the body of this is in the range of this, and so on and so forth. So the area of supply that we would draw is here. So we take this tool and we mark it off like so. Okay, and I think I'd probably mark it off like this. Okay, but notice now this area of supply is gone. Then you ask yourself the question, well, what area took that out? Well, something down here did. Which we can't see what that is on the monthly. Let's go to the weekly and have a closer look. And you can see that we had an accumulation candle. The candles were pulled back to this area here before the slingshot was released. So let's move this to here, to the lows. Okay, to the lows. Why? Price went up. Slingshot was pulled back, and then we had gapping higher, which is good. Price references point of value, which is the rally we saw here this week or last week, and now price is trading off of this. But notice that we had a green candle here. What does that mean? Well, that means that on the daily, I'm sure we have another area of demand here, which was tested several times, and now it's gone. Okay, what area of supply consumed this demand? Well, this is the candle that did it. So we move. We have to do our backtracking. Okay. This candle left. Is the body of this within range of the previous? No. Is the body of this range of the previous? No. Yes, up here. So we mark off the white candles here. I think we can mark all of these off up to around here, okay? Okay, price came roughly to that area, about the $10,000, and then we started to retreat. Okay, so this is something that's quite important. Okay, so I mean, a lot of people are perhaps thinking that Bitcoin is up for a new push higher, and while that may be the case, notice that we have a daily supply currently driving price. Okay, because this is what price most recently reacted on. This is supply because this consumed this, and this is demand because this consumed levels, historical levels back here. So we managed to move this. So price, when it left here, it moved above this, and it moved above all of these areas of supply just up here. Okay, and so now this is gone. The area that did it is this. So price is reacting at this, and when I look at this, I think price is going to move lower. The only thing that makes me a little bit careful about positioning myself short is the fact that we are what? As we are sitting on this area of demand here, and this is the one that's responsible for this big explosive push higher here. The reason I don't like this is because it's very wicky. When I say wicky, I mean that when you have candles like this, the open and the close are very close to each other. So this is the open and the close. Price comes in, price moves really high, really low, really high, really low, and then we close at roughly the same price level as the open. And this up and down price movement, this is consuming liquidity at this area. And I can see, when I look at this, I think there's probably not a lot of liquidity here, rather necessary liquidity at this price level to stop price from falling to a more attractive price, one of which we have here. Okay, and this one here is responsible for moving this one here, so this would be a more attractive price at which to buy Bitcoin. Additionally, we have micro areas down here that you can see, and we'll have a look at those now. Okay, so this is what we have here. If we go to the 1 hour, the daily chart, and have a closer look, notice that we had this continuation pattern. Let's see if this is supply. We don't know until we've seen what it's able to accomplish. So the area of demand that it consumed is here. This one sat on it. Okay, so this one is gone. This one has been tested once, twice, and this one managed to move through it. So when I see this, I am interested then at looking at the price levels. The price, before I do anything, I can't do that. Let me delete this. Before I do anything, I want to focus on the details of this. Okay, so the high is around there. Let's look, zoom in and look. So when I see this, we have two distribution candles here. Price moved lower. Okay, price managed to move through that area. We had a test, no holding. We had another test, no holding. And then this candle managed to move through the area. We accumulated and we slowly started to wriggle higher. And then we had this gapping north here. Okay, and so you ask yourself the question, well, what was the price level the price had to return to in order to find buyers strong enough to move through this supply, this red daily supply? And red is just the software telling you what the time frame is, which daily. I just draw one on manually, and you can see that it's just down here. Okay, so this is where it came from. So we had a test here. We had the first test, failure, and this is one that managed to move through it. So we're actually reacting at something in here we can't see. Let's go to the 4-hour chart and find some clarity. We go in here, you can see that we had, here it is. So you had, I just want to stop the candles from flattening out. It gets ugly to look at, so we make sure we don't have that. We can see here that we had a huge interest in buying at this price level. This is the 40-100 area, so this is an attractive area to buy at. Why? Because last time price was there, there were a whole lot of people that were looking to buy at that price point. Okay, where are we? Okay, here. So just around here. Here we are. Sorry, just around here. So this is a pretty interesting price window to buy at. And if you look at this, you can see that, I mean, this pullback here was the one that was responsible for holding price above these price levels. So to me, an interesting area to buy at would be from here, from this little price nodule and down, perhaps through to this area of weekly demand here. Because you have to look for areas of supply and demand or price imbalances that are yet to be rebalanced. And notice that once price left here, let me remove this one for a second, go to the daily chart, notice that price has not, okay, this one was formed, price went up, we rebalanced, we returned to this one here. Then price started to move sideways for a period of time, and these white candles are telling us a story that we're seeing distribution being distributed. Okay, so we're accumulating orders to move price higher, and you can see that, of course, here when price pops north. We had this little area of supply here, micro area, tested. This is the one that cut through it. The origin of that move is around here. Okay, so this price and higher is a very attractive price to buy at. Okay, so we have a couple of areas to watch, and the reason this one is interesting to me is because we have black space since its creation. So price has not been back to this price point here, this area of value. So this is still to be rebalanced. We also have another one here, and this one here is responsible for moving this, because the origin, we had price kind of moving higher, and price moved away from here. We have black space from here into the future. We have black space here as well. And so from the point of this gap being closed, this is also a window of opportunity. This is a window of value at about the base of this area, so just around here. Okay, so we have two areas to watch for Bitcoin. We have this one, we have this one. Okay, and so I think those are very interesting areas. And we have, for short positions, we have this area of supply, and this is interesting to us because this is the one that's responsible for consuming this demand. Very important, very important indeed. But we do have to struggle with this area of weekly demand. As I mentioned, this is not a pretty one because of all the trading in the area, which I explained via the pin bars, but we do have this nonetheless. So the 74.16-ish area is still looking to attract some buyers, I'd say. Okay, so let's have a look at that weekly area on the smaller time frame and see if we can find something. Yeah, notice here, see, price has been back to this price level here, in here, and here we've actually been back all the way down to the low. So we had price gap up, we had the slingshot was pulled back, and then price has not returned to this since. So this is the big slingshot being pulled back before this release to these very high price points here. Okay, and so at this point, from the low of this pin bar here and up is a very nice place to buy as well, and this is at the 6,500 area. But as I mentioned, I prefer this area here and lower, from about the 41, about the, what is this, yeah, around from here and then down to here. I think these are pretty interesting price points here. Okay, good. So that's what we have on Bitcoin. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Do our top down, the monthly, what's going on. Okay, we have a really nice sell price here. So we had these two candles, the white candles, the body of these two, they were in the range of each other. Price popped up. Below that we have this, so we could do something like this. Okay, so we have a parent, we have a child. This is the child. We have pin bars, so we'll mark off the whole area. Delete that. So we have that. Price tested this, But notice that this area is now gone. The area that did it is this one. The Pipnotic software showed this to us already. So from here and down, okay, this is where price will probably have a bounce. So the $420. This is a very nice area to sell Ethereum American dollars. Is that okay? Okay, moving down to the smaller time frames, we can see this. This is just a beautiful area. This one here managed to move away from this area of demand. This is demand because it consumes this supply, and this is supply because it consumed this demand. Okay, there has to be a reason to qualify supply and demand. You can't just choose like an area just looks pretty. I mean, you have to do the legwork. Okay, and again, if you're unfamiliar with this, please go back to the first video in the series, because this will certainly shed some light. And here we can actually mark off here. So we had this price point, price went up, slingshot was pulled back, and we had the release. So mark off from the low to here. This is interesting. It's tested and now it's gone. This area is removed. The origin of the move that did it is this. We had a test at it, we had another push through it. So we had this price one here, and then we had this area here. Let me draw these. We had this. This is one that cut through this area, removed it. So this is the area where we can expect price to bounce. We had a small bounce. Keep in mind, this is very ugly. This is not a pretty area of demand, but we did have a bounce here, and it's probably clear on the smaller time frames, but we had something here. Oops, surprise bounce there. Come on, go like that. And now we're kind of wriggling around. This is not demand. Okay, this is just responsible for removing this. This is like micro supply, this is micro demand. Okay, we're not having any reactions here. This is uninteresting. And so looking lower, we have this. This is a very nice cutaway. Okay, so we had two green candles leaving this area of accumulation. So we had this here. Price tested it once, tested it twice. We cut through it. So but we didn't manage to hold below it. So we're still looking for this area to be traded through. I mean, price, we went through and then we came back up. Okay, so there's no strong, we haven't found enough sellers to be able to move through this area of demand. We have this. I like this. This is certainly an area that we could see a lot of sellers entering the market. We also have, notice that we have, let me zoom in. So we had, where are we? Yeah, we had this accumulation candle, green candle, white candle, green candle. Before that, white candle, green candle, green candle. You can't see these because it's really kind of scrunched up because these massive pushes higher. So we had a rally, accumulation, rally, accumulation, rally. This is a child. This is a parent. This is a parent because this is established independent on any other price point. And this is a child because this is established as a result of the presence of this area of demand. So this is a nice area to buy at. From this point and down, it's really difficult to put anything on it. Okay, zoom in a little bit. Okay, so we have this one here. So let's go back in future. Okay, we had a bit of a bounce there, and now we're kind of mucking around. So this is a pretty interesting area here. It's been tested, it's still holding. So we have that, and also below we have this rally accumulation for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Then this departure, rally accumulation, rally, price returning to this child. We can expect price to move lower than this next time. This is a slingshot, beginning of the buy zone. It goes up, price moves back to this area, so we can expect this to have a bounce. Price came through it, and now we're moving away. So the new buy zone for Ethereum American dollar is at the $77.13. Okay, so this is another area that we could look for price to have a bit of a bounce. Okay, but I like this area to sell at. I also like this one up here, which the software has found for us. We have two really nice areas to sell at here. Okay, so 834, the 420, and for buying about $88 and below. Okay, EOS. What's going on EOS? Let's look at the macro view. Yeah, well, prices. We had this nice monthly demand that the Pipnotic software found. Rallied, price poked into it, and now we're accumulating. You can see we're painting white candles at monthly demand. What does that mean? Well, that means that we're loading the cannon. The cannon to do what? The cannon to move higher. And notice that this low is lower than this low. Okay, so we have demand in control. Okay, very important. So we have a look at the weekly chart. What do we have? Well, we have more detail. So we don't have a whole lot of historical data here from this broker. No worries, but we do have a strong move. I can't see if this has done anything historically, but we have to work with what we have. Trade what you see. So we have something like this, and we're using this because this is where price came to. Okay, we need a reference point. There was supply in here because this is where price turned around. The price left, we came down, we came up, we came down, we sat in an area, and then we went down. What does that mean? Well, that means that we probably have, oops, wrong thing. We probably have something in here. Let's go to the daily chart and see. There it is. We can see it right there. So we had demand tested once, twice, price setter, and then we cut through. So this is where we can expect sellers to re-enter the market at the $5.58 price point. Okay, so probably a bit of selling going on there, I'd say, because this is supply which took out this demand. We also have this price window which was tested. This area took it out. This was tested. Okay, price wriggled away, and now we're reacting at this area of demand. This is demand. Why? Because we removed this parent supply, child, testing, rally, accumulation, rally. This one's gone. The area that did it is this one. This was tested once. Price went through it, but we didn't have any closes below it. If we line up the lows of these with the closes of these candles, we haven't really managed to close. So my expectation is we're going to wriggle higher from here. Okay. And so knowing that, let's have a look at small time frames. So we had a bounce in here, this micro supply. This is going to be an hourly or half an hour area of supply. Clear on the half an hour, I'd say. There it is. Half hour supply, a very nice one. We had a bounce just at the edge. We poked through it. Okay. And there's no real demand here until a little bit lower, and you can see that we're having a tough time moving through it. We're at least feeding back down. We do have a nice release from this area here, but it's not very clear. Going down the smaller time frames, I can see the area that I'd be keen to buy it, and that is down here. Okay, somewhere around here. Let's do 2 times the size. So I'm thinking we have something down here at the $2.70-ish area. This is just a nice release. Price left here, we moved above here, we traded a little bit, but now we're pulling back. So now we're trying to reload the cannon. So price is moving down. What does that mean? That means we're advertising cheaper prices. People will buy here potentially, which will move price higher. And this is happening at where this is happening at, sorry to jump around, this is happening at demand. So we have this really nice area of demand. Price poked through it, so we're really into the deep buy zone, and now we're kind of reacting. We have this high, this low, we have this low which is formed, and we're moving above this high, and so it looks like we're gonna see a squeeze higher to probably this area here. Okay, so that's what we have there. Let's look at XRP. Wow, what a ride. So where did that really big push originate from? Here, around here. Okay, so we had testing all along here. We're still respecting this area. We have not managed to trade below that area. So there's a keen interest in holding price above the 26 cents down to the 15 cents. Okay, so if we have a look in more detail, we have this nice area of supply. Nice cutaway. We had so we had some buying, a lot of buying here, this area. This is not super qualified supply. Why? Because it didn't really consume anything here. We only consume micro demand in this price move up here. Oops, don't want that. Okay, so but this is a nice move away, but it's not qualified supply, but the pattern looks nice. Okay, so looking here, we're having a really tough time moving below here. Okay, so we need more clarity. Go here. See, on this time frame, I can see this is a nice area of demand, 4-hour demand. Here on the hourly, when you got to find some clarity, this is a very nice area of demand. Oops, wrong thing. Here, nice area of demand here. It's just a super strong push higher. Okay, this took out all the micro supply in this leg here. Slingshot was pulled back and we left. Price came a little bit deeper as expected, and this held price, and now we're wriggling higher. We're showing strength to the upside. Okay, so if you focus on bleeding edge price, the green candles are moving north, not south. This one here pushed price into this hourly demand, and now we're moving sideways, big push. So we have this little area here. We have all of this. This is kind of a messy area, so you have to focus at the price point where price left, and price left from this area here. Okay, so let's look here one more time. It looks pretty interesting here. You go a little bit deeper. The software found it. We have kind of this area here. Okay, incredible. Look at that slingshot pull back. Boom, just shot up north. And this one here, this slingshot being pulled back is pointing to the edge of the buy zone. Price went to it, and then we went north. Okay, so maybe some bounces at around this area here. There's also a big Ripple coordinated conference coming up soon, I think in Singapore, over the coming days. So it'll be interesting to see if that has an effect on what Ripple is doing, at least, and maybe some of the rest of the cryptocurrencies. Cool, well, I'll leave it at that. We're at about 30 minutes. Have any questions, send them in, and have a great weekend. Thanks for watching.